widowed sister of the late King Wenset of Torrinth, was standing in the opening of a long brass-trellised window that looked westward across rolling fields, lush and verdant in the brightness of a sultry June afternoon. Co-regent with Mihail, she was also the mother of the previous king, of the said Liam Lajos, who was the present king, and of Prince Ronald Rurik, the 10-year-old heir presumptive.
"If you are telling me that Liam Lajos soon must wed, I think it premature," she said quietly, hooking the beringed fingers of one hand through the brass growwork.
"Premature," said Teimuraz. "He is 14, 2 months into his majority, and the precarious nature of his situation does put a certain urgency on the matter." She turned to look at him. The dappled sunlight filtering through the pierced brass set aglow the gauzy folds of veil and trailing sleeve, and touched with fire the bands of gold embellishing the royal purple, shimmering around her like the magical Deryni auras all of them could conjure forth at will.
"Do you think I am not aware of that?" she asked. "Yes, he is 14, and we have no idea what manner of man he has become in these 4 years held hostage at the court of Gwynedd. Best determine first whether he is fit to be king, before we speak of the getting of heirs."
"Harsh words from the one who bore him," Mihail replied. A faint smile curled within the close-clipped black beard. "And yet, for the sake of the kingdom, we must all of us acknowledge that it could prove necessary to pass over Liam Lajos in favor of one better suited to rule." As she glanced at him sharply, Teimuraz gave an amused snort. "Since my brother has been responsible for the training of the young king's brother who is the present heir, I can only think he alludes to 4 more years of his own regency, if it were necessary for Liam Lajos to give way to Ronald Rurik. We are all of us aware that Mihail harbors no ambition of his own regarding the throne." Mihail feigned languid interest in a massive seal ring that he wore on his left forefinger, dark eyes heavy-lidded as his thumb absently caressed the design cut into the murky bloodstone.
"I would not see either of my nephews come to harm," he said neutrally.
"But if any had a right to wield the might of Furstan after them, it would be myself." "No one disputes either part of that statement," Morag said briskly, coming to sit between them. "It is an unnatural mother who does not wish success for her sons, but, not having seen my elder one for several years, I cannot, as regent, speak for his readiness to rule this kingdom. We do not know how he may have been tainted by contact with the court of Gwynedd. He has had his training from Duke Nigel Haldane, who has ever been a fierce and loyal advocate for Gwyneth's interests, which rarely coincide with Torrinth's interests. And I like it not that, as a condition of his return, we must endure the presence of a Gwyneddan adviser always among us until my son attains the age of 18.
"We need not endure if the situation becomes too inconvenient," Mihail remarked.
"Human advisers can be gotten around, and I doubt that young Haldane will long risk leaving one of his few Deryni intimates among us." "You're aware that if interference is detected, you risk war?" Teimuraz said, his voice trailing off in question. "My dear Teimuraz, let us not speak of such unpleasantness," Mihail said silkily. "But even if the Haldane should leave one of his Deryni among us, accidents do happen."